This is a Beanbag Chair Media production.
Welcome to Anime Noise.
I'm Garrett. I'm a performing musician by trade, graduated with a bachelor's degree in music production, and have been binging anime for almost 2 decades.
And I'm Emily. I'm a classically trained violinist and have been indulging in the animes since I was a wee little human.
And this is an anime review podcast, where we help the new viewer decide where they want to start while taking the superfan on a deep dive into the overlooked realm of music and sound effects.
Hello.
Hi.
I hope everybody's having a great week.
I'm having a fucking fantastic week.
I wouldn't be as optimistic as that. It's been a strange week.
Well, at least for you.
Yeah.
Maybe they're having a great week.
That's true. I hope you are having a great week. And
It has been a weird week for us,
it's
hasn't
been
it?
a very weird week. Very, very strange and dumb week.
Yeah, it has. Emily got rear-ended on Tuesday. Hard, too.
Real
The other
hard.
chick totaled her car. But I think ours is fine, for the most part.
For the most part, it's got
Quite a bit of cosmetic damage.
some damage.
But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about another horror anime
Hell yeah.
that was kind of funny and very interesting.
It was interesting.
This one that we're doing this week is Parasyte the Maxim.
Yeah. It was good. I
It was
liked
very
it.
good. I really liked it, too.
I also have no idea how to start pronouncing this this name in Japanese.
Just go for it.
Kiseiju Sei no Kakiritsu.
That's pretty close.
Kakuritsu. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this was a really funny anime, and it held some drama. It was gory.
Lots of drama, lots of gore, some scary monsters.
Yeah.
And it was
Freaky.
still had a funny,
It had some
witty,
comical relief.
witty relief to it too.
Yeah, especially with the high school hormones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That was funny.
I really enjoyed this show. It surprised me. I didn't know what to expect. The music was a little interesting.
Oh.
It's not anything like anything we've heard before.
No.
First time
very
we've done an
different.
OST like this.
Very different.
But it's very good. You guys should go watch it if you haven't. It's a fantastic show. You like it.
I agree.
Yes. So let's get right into the notes, shall we?
Yeah.
Cool. This show aired October of 2014 to March of 2015. Has 24 episodes at 23 minutes each. And a little summary for you. Life forms invade Earth and implant themselves in human brains, but Shinichi-kun finds himself in a rare situation where the life form has control of his hand rather than his brain, and now they have to coexist in secret.
Indeed.
Yes. It's a very good summary. Did you make that up on your own?
Yeah.
Are you making up all the summaries?
Yeah.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I even waited for this one because I was like, I'm not going to pull another. And I left it blank when I initially did the research, and I went back and did it when I typed it up.
This is a good one. No spoilers there. That's pretty much straightforward to the point.
Yes.
And it gets very good. The genre for this is action, sci-fi, horror, drama. And it kind of it does have a lot of questions in there. I did like the philosophy,
Yeah.
especially toward, maybe, I think it was probably midway through.
Like talking about like humanity and what humanity really is, and essentially like humans are demons.
Yeah, that's what they compare it to.
We're the only ones that consume multiple life forms.
Well, not only that, but it's also what the parasites are going through as well.
Yeah.
They're it's like they said, two sides of the same coin. Life is the questions that they ask about life and altruism and things like taking care of the planet and maybe doing things for other life forms or like other animals as well as our own species. It asks a lot of questions and it makes you think, especially at the end. The last episode does a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
So go watch it. It's very, very good. It's a thinker.
Yeah. All right. So this one was a Madhouse Studio anime. It was licensed by Sentai Filmworks. The director is Kenichi Shimizu. He did Avengers Confidential, All Out, and did the key animation for the Aoi Bungaku series, the Phantom Rouge Hunter x Hunter movie, No Game, No Life, and Soul Eater.
Soul Eater.
Bringing it right back.
Bringing it right back.
The sound director was Chiaki Yamada, and the sound effects were done by Hitoshi Iwaaki. Both were covered in our Hunter x Hunter episodes. And the original creator was Hitoshi Iwaaki. A little bit about the manga. It ran from 1988 to 1995.
Really?
It did, yeah.
It's an older one.
It's an older one because it was initially just titled Parasyte.
Okay.
And so when they redid the anime, or when they did the anime, they called it Parasyte the Maxim. It won the Kodansha Manga Award in 1993 and the Seiyun, how do you say that? Seiyun Award in 1996. So it was a pretty big deal.
I mean, it is a very good sci-fi. It almost, when I was watching it, I was like, something like this had to have been done before. But the fact that the manga came out in the 90s, actually the 80s, it's like, that's why it feels like it's been done before, because I feel like other people were inspired from either the manga or the comic or hearing the story of it.
Yeah.
And they made something like it.
Yeah. As of December 2020, Parasyte had over 24 million copies in circulation. That's a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot.
And I know that they don't really censor anything in the manga.
No.
Like there's a scene where, I mean, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but not to the story. He has a parasite in his hand. It's a life form, a sentient life form that's trying to learn about humans. And when he sees a girl that he likes, the parasite turns into a boner.
Yeah.
And in the anime, he hides it really quick. You don't see anything. But in the manga, they show the parasite turning into a dick.
Yeah. It's great.
It's hilarious.
I'm great. I'm here for it.
You're here for it. Of course you are.
Hitoshi Iwaaki also wrote Fuuko no Iromise. That was his first work. Historie and Reiri, which is ongoing. So I
haven't heard of any of those.
He has a manga that is going right now.
Nice. I bet it's pretty good.
I'm sure it is.
I mean, this one was great. All right, let's get into the music, shall we?
Yeah, bitches.
Let's get into the music. Music time, bitches. All right, the opening sequence is called Let Me Hear by Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Jesus.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And Lossing.
And Lossing in Las Vegas. Yes. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. This song was released in January of 2015 as a single and then appeared on their fourth studio album, Feeling of Unity. It charted at number 3 on the Oricon and number 7 on the Billboard charts. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas they also did the Hunter x Hunter closer, Just Awake.
Yeah.
I feel like they did some other one that we covered as well, but I don't remember. This song is, I guess for 2014, 2015, it makes sense that it charted as high as it did, because that was a weird time for music.
We're not a fan of this one.
I'm not a huge fan. Actually, that's not true. I just don't like the vocals.
Yeah.
The song is actually pretty good.
The vocals at the end are...
It's like, if you're going to go full screamo, just go. Just go there. Which they did at the end, and it sounds good, and it's intense, and I love it. But they have this weird Vocaloid thing. You guys are here. We're going to play it here in just a second. So here is the opener for Parasyte.
You got to know it's how we I give that just for being you must be absolute.
See, this is what we mean by that weird Vocaloid thing.
Yeah. It's just, I get the times and all, But even then, I feel like we were out of that time. I feel like that was even earlier in the 2000s.
It sounds like almost like Attack Attack,
Yeah.
which is pretty big in about that time, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the groove is pretty awesome. Like, it's really hard.
It's just that little
that
Vocaloid
part, yeah.
sound that I don't like. And it gets a little like, it gets pretty synthy. Pretty heavy on the synths.
like this. This is too much.
If they re-recorded this song, I bet it would hit better now.
Yeah. Oh, naked peoples.
See,
Like if we
this
had
part is
held
great.
this, if we had held this vocal,
And it's not as synthy. They took it out.
yeah.
So I really like the end there. It's like the song came back around into what it was supposed to be. I don't know. That synth stuff is just, it's a little much for me. But then again, I remember 2015. I remember all that shit. I was into Attack Attack for a minute, but not for very long. Not for very long. Too synthy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's get into some lyrics, shall we?
Yeah. So they describe this as a poem, which I find kind of strange.
Okay.
You guys do not notice that we are gifted just by being humans. We are absolute predators. We do not even have any enemies. Maybe there are other animals watching us and thinking that someday we will beat them down. Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, we have the brains to think hard, wear our favorite clothes. We are at no doubt human beings, many small lives. They were born with the fate of dying for someone, a human baby. When will they find out that at the point they were born, we are winners of Earth? That's a really like existential song.
That is a bit deep.
That's really
That is a bit deep. It has it is a poem. I can see that.
Yeah.
And it's not overly poetic.
No.
And the lyrics certainly
They
fit
fit.
the anime. I wish I could understand. I mean, not that I can understand Japanese anyway, but the Vocaloid shit makes it harder.
Yeah. I don't know. The lyrics fit to a T. Like
The music
100%.
fits.
The music and the intensity of the music fits.
I'm going to give it a check because the only thing I don't like about it is the vocals, and that's just my own personal preference. I can admit to that. So I'm going to say, yeah, it fits.
I think it fits. I'm severely conflicted with that fucking Vocaloid, but I think it fits all in all.
I think it does too. So, yep, check it off the list. Boom, done.
Wacha.
Moving on to the OST. Although before we get there,
OSTs.
OSTs, yeah, I guess there's two. Before we get there, I do wish, since it was a 24 episode series,
That they would have
that they had a
switched it up.
second. That they had a second opening.
I know.
I feel like they could have done two.
I know.
Two openings, two closings.
And they didn't even play that one for the 24th episode.
No, they didn't.
They didn't.
Did they just go right into it?
They went right into it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could have done another one, but that's okay. Let's get on to the OST.
Yeah. All right. The OST, the original soundtrack, was released in December of 2014. It has 19 tracks and a runtime of an hour and
Almost 20 minutes.
17 minutes.
Yeah.
And then there's a second album. It's called the Parasyte Special Soundtrack that has 13 tracks. It was released in July of 2015, and it runs for about 36 minutes. So it's really not a hard listen. It's actually the better of the easier listenings.
Yeah, it's miles better than the first OST.
It's ridiculous. So these both were on the VAP label. The composer is Ken Arai. He did Pingu in the City and Starmio. Neither of which I've seen. Pingu in the
Same.
City is like a longer, like very child-oriented penguin in the city, essentially. And Ken Arai in Japan is a very notable DJ. So I can see why he did what he did for the original soundtrack.
And honestly, I had a hard time believing that OST 2 was
The same?
him.
No, it is. It is very much the same.
That's mind-blowing to me.
It is, because from now, the difference between the first OST and the second is vastly different. Vastly.
It's
like
it's
two different worlds.
Basically two different genres that he was going for. But the first OST has a ton of amateur moves in it. For as much professionalism as I hear and like the cool talent that Ken shows off, it's got this very like he does what amateurs would do in a song.
Yeah.
And in an OST. It's not great. It's not smart. For every step forward, he takes 2 steps back.
Yeah.
With his music, at least on the first one. That's why when we heard the second one, we actually had to stop. We listened to the first OST last night, and we were like, our ears are so fatigued from this because it is, one, super repetitive. It is pretty predictable. It's mostly DJ stuff. And it's the problem with, this may sound biased. I know there's a ton of people that love DJs and DJ music and that type, like dubstep and shit like that.
And
EDM.
I do. I really like that. Like sometimes that's what helps me vibe a little bit. When I'm like
I do too. I'm not trying to talk shit.
Yeah, when I open up at work, like I like to put on like music. People hate it because they're like, Emily, it's too early to have a rave. But it helps me work. You know, it's upbeat and it hits hard
It's
and
energy.
things like that. It's energy.
The thing that
there's
EDM,
a problem with this one though.
There's a problem with a lot of EDM, which is there are certain categories of music that's not just notes or rhythm that should be included in an OST. I mean, the whole point is to trigger emotion from the audience. So there has to be other emotional aspects like the DJ builds, the pitch swells up, the filters, the heavy drops from dubstep drops and things like that. You can only do those so many times, and they have a pretty narrow impact for what they do to the listener. Everything else, I mean, you have to have tone, dynamics actually. It's super crucial to have dynamics in music, and EDM isn't one of those things. Usually EDM is things don't get loud or soft or slow down or speed up. They can, but it's usually like
For a drop or something.
in an orchestra, for example. This is the best way I could do it. Contrast it with an orchestra. You can have 3 violins playing one note each, but they build a chord.
Right.
And they can build phrases that have cool voice leading and build multiple chords and make a cool chord progression. Where like this soundtrack in particular, and a lot of EDM that I hear, is a bunch of fully thought out pieces or loops that are just played and stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
So you don't get to like strip down each individual component. You have a whole, it's like playing 14 orchestras on top of each other. It's like a whole musical idea that you then loop with another one. And it can get tiring on the ears. It can get very fatiguing, and it only triggers a certain level of emotion. There's only a certain window of it there that you can't grab the whole spectrum. I mean, there's tone, there's groove, there's phrasing. Phrasing is super important too. So when you take that out, you miss a lot of what a soundtrack should have. That, and I have quite a bit of critiques for this gentleman,
Yeah.
at least on the first OST.
Yeah. All right. Well, you want to go first with overall notes?
Sure. That was a lot of them that I
Okay.
just said.
Okay.
So right off the bat, I had heard the dubstep in the show as we were watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's weird, kind of cool, whatever. It hits for the scene. And then standalone, though, I'm hoping for something a bit more natural, using more music theory to invoke emotion rather than just the DJ moves. Like there are certain DJ moves that you just, you understand, and it doesn't feel natural. This is yes, a sci-fi. Yes, it's super like out of this world, but it also is natural. It's organic. It's still an organic life form. So he does not grab the organic organism from the music that he created. It's pretty repetitive. Already by number 2, I was like, number 2 feels repetitive. I can just feel the puzzle pieces of all of the parts. And then even by like number 5 or 6, I'm like, yep, still pretty repetitive. All of the songs are longer than necessary.
So long.
It's like they played this is an amateur move. One of the amateur moves that I'm talking about. If you do something cool, because there were a lot of notes. Actually, I can normally fit 6 or 7 songs on a piece of notebook paper and do enough notes for all of those songs. Every single one from the first OST, I could only fit 4 songs per page because I had so many notes, so many good highlights were just taken away by either how long the song was or the fact that he showed his cards too early. All of his cool tricks that he did were just given to us right away, and then he would loop the song again, and it was like reintroducing us to the same song, unnecessarily so.
And the songs could have been, this OST could have been 30 minutes shorter.
Absolutely.
30 minutes shorter, and it would have
Most
probably...
of these songs could have been cut in half.
And it probably would have been a better critique of it, because at least he would have stopped while he was ahead. And really, that's all we ask.
Yeah.
That's all we wanted, because the ear fatigue was real.
Yeah.
The exhaustion from like being disappointed was real.
And the problem, I feel bad saying that because there were some very cool things that he did. He had he's very talented. And it's obvious from the second OST how talented he is.
Yeah.
But in the first one, it's just, it doesn't give you the dynamics that you're looking for from an OST. And for as complex as he gets, it doesn't tell a story. It just retells the same thing. It doesn't get more complex. It doesn't feel artistic. It feels looped.
Yeah. I mean, even for track 5, cool, creepy vibes. Did some really cool dissonance. Got the beat hit. But then it's like, okay, well, I'm not really sure about that orchestral part. I'm not sure how that works. Oh, now it's predictable. Okay, well, now it's just looped. Okay, got it.
Dubstep is great for certain vibes.
Yeah, and I feel like the dubstep could have worked for a little bit of this, but I don't think it should have been all of it.
But like we said about having, like, music has no rules. We said that the last 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
Music has no rules, and you can do cool shit with it. He could have gone dubstep and then immediately turned it into an orchestral piece by itself.
Absolutely.
It could have been sci-fi and organic all at the same time. But he sampled some of he had MIDI orchestra for a lot of it.
God, I wanted to die.
He had MIDI strings. And he sampled some of it, so it sounds like a DJ. It takes the organic part of that away, and it's a problem in my opinion. It's not a good move. It wasn't a smart move.
Yeah.
It never really gets different. It just gets more.
Yeah.
And every time he earns some professional cred, he does something like an amateur would do. Like I wrote that right there. It's like he's bad at dynamically changing a song or stripping a phrase down into its most basic parts, like music theory parts, and then building the phrase. He just has the whole phrase and then throws something on top or underneath it.
It's a overbalance of texture.
Yes. And all of these really cool fills that he has, he's got some magnificent keyboard fills, rhythmic fills, just cool shit that he can do. And he ruins it because he'll give you this really great intro, builds well, song's going, it's moving, and then he shows you this cool fill, and then the song turns around into another part, and then he loops the whole thing over again to make it 4.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
When it should have been 2.5. And when you have cool fills like that, I always approach the bass, for example, where I did this in the studio a few weeks ago, where I was playing bass, and when I was practicing, I accidentally did something because I missed the string, and it sounded cool. I did a harmonic, and I was like, that fill sounds very good. So I tried to do it throughout the whole song, like just make it come around every 4 to 8 times, and that felt wrong. It took away the specialness from it. So I played what I was doing before and waited till the very, very last part of the song that I could fit it. And that's what made it special, because it sounds cool once. And when you're like, oh, wow, how did he do that? Or that was very cool. I didn't know that was going to be there. 1, it's unexpected. And 2, it makes you want to start the song over so you can feel the anticipation of getting to that cool part. And when you give it to us in the first 30 seconds, and then 15 seconds later, and then 15 seconds later, and 15 seconds later, and 15 seconds later, you're like, okay, fuck. Like, it's not cool anymore. I have quite a few critiques, but another very important one is that it has very linear energy where it doesn't really ramp up or down, or like the A part and the B part are they feel about the same. They don't give you, it's not a wave. It's just a straight line.
Yeah, and I felt like even the builds, when you hear an EDM song, you really anticipate that build and what it turns into and how it drops. And even from that point of view, it didn't deliver.
No.
I never felt like I was like, oh man, that was fucking sick. Like, I am moved.
Some of them did.
Some did, but even then, because of
He
how
looped it
he
again.
ends the song, he loops it again, and you get the same build and the same drop.
drop.
And it's like, no. At that point, just end the song. If you're going to loop it around, it is not worth my time to sit here and listen for another 2 minutes while you play the exact same thing and maybe add another texture.
It's like introducing, like, have you ever met a friend that didn't remember you? And you shake their hand, and you're like, hey, they go, hey, nice to meet you. And you're like, we've met like 3 times, 4 times. And they just don't
today.
remember you at all.
Just today.
Yeah.
Not even like 2 weeks ago. Like, this just
I
happened.
just bought you a drink, actually,
Yeah.
from the bar. Yeah, we've met before. And that's what it felt like to me for this entire OST. It felt like we were just being reintroduced to the same person over and over again. And it didn't move forward. I have a hard time finding an analogy that describes what he did well, at least for the first OST. And the thing is, like, I think it's just a vibe that he was going for that he overdid. For example, like, I know I'm being extra critical, but if we had a metal OST that was just like the same shit over and over again.
Kind of like Detroit Metal City.
Like Detroit Metal City. It didn't, like, I mean, I love metal, so I would be biased and I could rock out to it, but I'm only rocking out to it. I'm not getting the emotional appeal for what you're trying to go for. This is a very complex anime. It needs a little more complexity. I did think that at first thought that the sound design was very cool in the anime, and I thought it was part of the soundtrack. It actually, I think it was part of the second one, but I think the sound effects department in the anime just outdid the composer.
Yeah.
Because the first OST is just like, keep it in the club. Just keep it in the club. Maybe use a couple of these pieces for certain and very rare spots in the anime. But to be
Like,
honest, I
even
think
the-
OST 2 was used more.
Yeah, yes, I do agree with that. I think that if you're going to go for these very fast-paced, unemotional parts, they should be for fight scenes.
Yeah.
Or they should be for passing moments. Something that doesn't need to grab you into the show and create purpose. Things that are fleeting moments and have no
Life
impact.
is fleeting. Life is fleeting. It has fleeting moments. And it changes all the time.
Right.
So why can't your music do the same thing?
Right. So I don't know. Did you have any other overall notes?
That was pretty much it for the first OST. That's pretty much all I had.
Okay.
I was going to wait and I've already kind of talked about it, but I wanted to wait and get the first OST out of the way so we can play the second one. It's way better.
Yeah. So I questioned why they went the EDM route, especially not knowing what the second OST was going to be like. Did they do that because they wanted Ken Arai to be the composer and they didn't really care what he did? Or was there a specific purpose? Was it intentional? I want to know because I just don't feel like it.
It could have been the time, too. It could have been the 2015.
Yeah, it could have been.
2014, 2015.
It could have been. Something kind of small to note, I didn't really find the connection between the track titles and the music. I felt there were some of them, sure, but with the more darker elements, I felt it. But all the other ones, I didn't really get it. I didn't correlate Migi's theme with the music.
I liked Migi's theme. I liked aspects of Migi's theme. It was actually it's charming, kind of like he is.
Yeah, it had some cool effects, which I felt like were kind of personifying, but nothing really stood out about it. And this is a pretty substantial thing. This parasite is attached to your right, takes over your right hand, and he builds a relationship with you throughout the entire 24 episodes.
Yep.
Why was that not? And this is a new thing that you're experiencing. Why is the theme for that not more complex? Why is it just a looped beat?
Yeah.
I wanted more from that. If you're going to throw a title like the main protagonist.
That's kind of why I liked OST 2. Song Speak.
And they actually
third song on OST 2
correlate with each other.
Yeah.
You can feel the emotion that they're titled. I get that. I had a really hard time with that. And something that was really important was I was just exhausted by the end of taking notes that I didn't have very good notes for this because I didn't find anything that really spoke to me. My handwriting even got worse because I just didn't care. I lost interest so fast.
Yeah, these songs, I think the biggest thing was playing the same song twice and making it twice as long.
Yeah, I could have probably gotten through it had they cut out half of the songs.
It's not even like in school, if I was going to write an essay and I needed to fluff it up, and I just kind of reworded the same thing that I wrote in another paragraph.
It at least sounds different.
It at least sounds different.
God damn it.
It's the same point said twice with different words. But this one was literally he took his first paragraph, copied it, and pasted it in the end.
Yeah.
That's it.
Not MLA format whatsoever.
Or APA.
Or APA,
and none of that shit. It was just, yeah. I have nothing more to say about that. It's just okay. It's just okay, and maybe even less than okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm...
But let's play the two songs that we are going to do for you. We're going to play one that we actually kind of liked, and one that was like, what the fuck? The fuck was your idea behind this?
Yeah.
So let's start with the what the fuck one first.
Yep. Cream Soda.
That one's track number 8. Cream Soda.
I don't even know where this was in the anime. How does it even make sense?
Like I said, I feel like most of the anime used tracks from OST 2. I don't know where this belongs.
Crazy.
Here is Cream Soda.
Shot right into the 80s.
Not a problem.
And not in the best of ways. What?
I don't understand the whistling part. It definitely sounds 80s, which makes sense. The manga came out in the 80s. I'm putting the pieces together here.
Sure. I'm not on board with it.
I'm not on board with it either.
Like, I felt like they had some potential. Like, this would have been a great example if they had started out with, like, this kind of thing and then, like, went into an orchestral way. I would have understood it a little bit better. Like, even go for a 50s, like, diner ice cream vibe, you know, like, kind of thing like that.
Yeah. Now, this has, like, that kind of, like, head nodding thing.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing that I just want to hear in the club.
In the background. And not because I want to be there listening to it. It just happens to be on.
This little breakdown part, that's the only thing that feels cinematic to
Yeah.
me. But again, everything has been linear energy.
And mainly because it sounds like it should be in Tron.
Something like that. Yeah, this feels very Daft Punk. Actually, my notes for
I
it.
had another one
There's
that
had
sounded
some
like Daft Punk.
Punky vibes.
Yeah.
I was like, I really like the intro, but what is this whistling? A very weird touch to this. Kind of Ghostbusters B part, and then they bring it back to the Daft Punk C part. 3.5 minute song with quite a bit of parts. It's such a left turn for the deep part, which is right now, and the deep, I call it deep
Yeah.
less because it does get slightly variated. This.
But they
took
just
the
add
darkness,
textures.
They took the darkness and edge out, which is, okay, now it stays interesting. It keeps us interested. But they brought the whistles back, and they're about to in a minute, and it doesn't really fit the part. It's like they forced it. It wasn't a smart throwback.
No.
It's forced familiarity.
And
like
I'm
the whistle
just-
part they loved so much that they were like, take it again and again and again. It actually doesn't belong in the first part either, but we like it so much, you're
It's
going
like
to love it.
stabbing you.
Exactly. They
It's not
forced-
gracing your ears. It's just stabbing at your ears.
This does not fit.
Like, really, I think what they could have done is start breaking it down. So take away, instead of adding more textures, take it away. And then have, like, they could have just ended with the whistle part if they really wanted to, but they don't even do that. But it's just so repetitive. Why? Why did this song need to be so long?
And they still keep going. They keep that whistle going. It's a very Daft Punk move, but Daft Punk is a master of the loop.
Yeah.
Daft Punk is the master of it. They will keep you going and keep you going and build and build and build. But Daft Punk has its own vibe.
That you want to listen to. There's a reason that you listen to Daft Punk when you listen to them.
And the thing with Daft Punk too is like even their own anime that they did for their entire album, I found that repetitive too, but it fits the anime because the anime was the music video for their entire album.
Yeah.
So they made it work. But they did it, the music was there first, and then they made the anime based off of that. So, and honestly, Daft Punk has gotten so much better because they went and did Tron and worked for fucking Disney and learned a shit ton.
Yeah.
So
There's that too.
they learned how to make soundtracks and cinema and emotion. There's a lot more that goes into it than just that. I honestly don't remember that being in the anime at all.
I don't either. And that was like something I said. I was like, where was this piece in the anime? I'm so confused.
So confused. But that was one of the ones that they reintroduced us to a part, which was the whistling, which was overdone. But the rest actually changed throughout the whole song. So at least they didn't do that. It just still doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit the anime.
No.
So let's play something that we actually did like. I really like this one. The only one that for me, when I'm going through these and I'm giving them stars, I usually try to give them stars because they wowed me. I'm like, okay, fuck yeah, this one should be played.
You were moved when you starred that.
I was moved. It did something cool. It made me interested. This, however, I got to about, I don't even remember what track it was. I think it was like 6 or 7. And I hadn't starred anything yet. I'm like, shit, I actually got to go back and decide which ones are the best
Yeah, same.
out of all of these because none of them are wowing me right now.
Or I would hear something and I would be like, well, I actually like this song I heard before a little bit better than this. So I guess I'll go back and start that one.
Again, it had very cool aspects to it, but nothing. It had pieces of WoW
Yeah.
that were just kind of stepped on by the rest of it. But let's play 15, shall
Let's
we?
do it.
15 is called Lesson.
I thought you wanted to play Kill the Puppets.
No, that was the other. We were deciding between two shitty songs.
Oh, okay.
15 is called Lesson. Let's go over our notes right now. What were your notes for it?
I said, okay, this is different. I actually enjoy the texture, the piano riff that he throws in there. And I was like, maybe harp? And I was like, no, it's not harp.
It's like a synthy kind of harp thing.
Yeah. It comes back around when you don't expect it. It's laid back on the instrumentation texture and heavier on the rhythmic texture.
Yeah, it's very heavy on the rhythmic texture. It's got this very cool sci-fi sound design with Wii Fit music.
Yeah.
It's almost Wii-like. I called it the harp. I think it's a glissando.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a harp, but it was like a weird MIDI kind of harp or something, or they put it through a filter. And the glitchy effects. I mean, way to bring back the groove. Please don't show the cards too early. Damn. Like, see, it's like they bring us in and we love it and we love it. And then, no, don't do it.
Stop doing that.
Stop. No. What are you doing? He shows all of his cards too early. I was like, damn, the chimes are cheese. It's too much fucking cheese. Great breakdown, though. See, you got some cool fucking ideas. Just tease them a little bit better. Also, your cool fills and shit become less special if you do them all the time. Great outro fill.
Yeah.
See, it's like, it's both sides here. I got a fuck ton of compliments and then a fuck ton of complaints.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever perfect. Not that it should be, but you know what I mean. So here it is, number 15. Cool little intro. I'm intrigued.
And it fits the sci-fi genre.
And this is the Wii music that I was talking
Yeah.
about. Very cool, Phil.
That like almost reminds me of like hip hop, you know, like they do those little like samples and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, I can relate to that.
And then he did the second one different,
Yeah.
which is great. And this glitchy stuff is very cool. I'm already like, but
Okay.
There's the second time he did the glissando.
Yeah.
Like the first one.
But he keeps it pretty basic in terms of adding
Third time.
the instrumentation texture. He keeps it very simple, but he's filling in every like half beat. Like,
And it sounds very
And
DJ
it's-
and very like glitchy and cool.
yeah, but that's an element that's different.
Yeah. And he's got these cool little things like this song should end here in about 30 seconds. That's
Like
very
this,
cool.
Yeah, you're bringing it back around in a different way, and that's okay. But
And then this should be the outro right
this
now.
should be where we fade out. But no,
And bring it right back
right the fuck
to
back.
show us the same thing again. And it's linear energy. It doesn't get
doesn't
more
get-
energetic or
it
less
doesn't get
energetic.
large,
It's the same. It's just next to
It
it.
doesn't even simplify. And I feel like just even doing more or less would be better than what we're getting.
It doesn't grow in either direction.
No. Because even when you take away something, it's still considered growth because you're transitioning and you're moving and you're building and you're creating your own music world right now. And right now, I'm feeling very stagnant in my music world.
You could have just changed up the phrasing a bit, you know? But cool ending though. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I can see the intrigue of using the techniques that he used, I just feel like I heard the same technique every single song.
Yeah.
Every single song. It was the same technique. It was the same builds.
It's the same.
It's the same. And I don't like same when I'm listening to 19 tracks for an hour and fucking 17 minutes.
I don't like the same when the life form on his hand is growing. It's
Literally
all
evolves.
of the life forms are they evolve, they get smarter, they learn, they adapt, they try. It's just, it gets complex, so make it more complex. That started out very complex. It actually had a lot of complexity to it, but it was the same complexity and never evolved.
Right.
And instead of like that harp glissando was very cool, and they did the glissando like breakdown thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That thing. That was cool. But then they did it again. They didn't try a different texture. They didn't try a different instrument. They didn't warp it with a plugin
Fuck,
or
they
an
didn't
effect.
even use dynamics
They didn't change
or
it.
tempo.
Yeah. They didn't change it. They could have done. He played that fill 4 or 5 times, I think. At least 4. And what he could have done was he did the first one, and then he did the second one different, and then the next 3 or 4 were the same. When he could have done 1 that was the original one, 2 that was different, a 3rd that was different, bring back the original, or even do a 4th that was different, and then bring back the original during the breakdown.
Yeah.
It can be more creative.
could have
You can
been-
always get more creative, and I understand trying to dial back the creativity because you think you're like, oh, I'm overthinking it. Oh, this doesn't actually help the song. It's not better. It's not worse.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, more creativity, more flow is always better. Usually. So let's move on to OST 2 because I love that one so much better.
It still wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But it definitely held a lot more character.
OST 1 does not belong in an anime to me. Some of the songs could have, some of the parts could have. But OST 1 doesn't belong in an anime. It belongs in like, you want to throw a party? You want to throw a fucking sci-fi party? Play this whole OST at your party.
Mm-hmm.
Throw
Yeah.
it in, give it to your DJ that you hired for your party, have him mix it in with some of the other songs. Because we did have the Barbie Girl song,
Yeah.
which we didn't play.
the
the-
minor Barbie girl
The sad
song.
Barbie, yeah. The original version of it is on OST 1, but they played the one from OST 2 a lot more. So we're going to play you that one, I think.
Yeah.
Because we have to. If we don't use it for our intro, it's we got to play that one. Maybe even on the outro. I don't know. It is
I
such
just need you to hear it. It's like the first thing I thought of, and I was like,
when she said Barbie Girl, I was like, I heard it every time it came up in the anime.
and I had already been there. Like I was like, yep, there's the same song. There it is, Barbie Girl. Yep, And then I finally said something, and it's like, okay.
I heard it every time after that, and you guys will too. You will definitely. So let's move on to OST 2. What were your overall notes for it?
I had none.
You had no overall notes for it?
No, I did not.
Okay. Okay. The only one I really had was like, I feel like it was used more. And then it was definitely used more than OST 1.
Yeah.
Miles better. I questioned whether or not it was the same composer.
It's true because when somebody gives you 19 tracks of the same thing, and then all of a sudden it's like 30, you only give us 30 minutes of something different. You only gave us 30 minutes of something different.
But even like, I still have one of the same critiques, was even the stripped back, like just piano or just Rhodes
It
versions
was still repetitive.
of the original. The ones that he redid were still just as long as the original, and they didn't need to be because it was the same phrasing. It was the same A, B part played twice. Didn't need to be that long. It didn't go anywhere. The only one that I noticed was different was the fucking modulation in the Barbie
yeah.
Girl song. That song is called Next to You, by the way. And they did a modulation, but the modulation was so subtle and it happened so much later that it didn't it was just barely piquing my interest. And it took me listening to it a second time for me to go, was that even a modulation? Yes, it was. They modulated it early for the next part, and then they I guess, re-brought the main phrase back in a different key, which was cool. Great way to keep us interested. Still too long.
Yes.
Not the only way to keep us interested. You could have done something else.
Yep.
So the 2 songs, maybe 3, that we're going to play is the Barbie Girl. The number 6, right? Enemy?
I thought we decided on 8.
We did decide on 8 too, but we didn't play the Barbie Girl song we got to.
That's true.
So let's do those 3, and we'll briefly, we'll just go through. And actually, Barbie Girl's a little long. We might as well just cut it short.
Because you're going to hear the same thing over.
You're going to hear the same thing twice.
Yeah.
So I might wait till the modulation or something. I don't know. Well, let's do that one first. Let's get that one out of the way.
Okay.
Then we'll play 6 and 8, 2 songs that we really loved.
It's a minor Barbie girl in a parasitic world.
That's right. Is that on your notes?
Yeah. In the original version, they made the strings digital, and I hated it.
Well, yeah, the original version
hated
was just
I
super
hated it.
uber cheese.
I hated it.
All right, here it is. You hear it now, don't you? Don't you guys? This is the version we preferred. It's stripped down just to 1 instrument. It's got a beautiful Rhodes tone to it. I think it's funny on the second OST at the bottom, they have it's like they put tags,
yeah.
like hashtags at the bottom. They're not real hashtags. It just says humankind, parasite, incident, right hand, species, high school life, love.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are all the things you'll get from this anime, but maybe this hashtag will get your attention.
That's not even a real hashtag. It's like they just put
I
a
know,
list
they
of
just
things
put
at
a
the
list.
bottom. So we have an A and a B part here. And if anybody wants to mash us up with Barbie Girl, if you're DJs out there and you can do that,
That'd be pretty cool.
that'd be pretty fucking sweet. Nobody would get it but us, I think, but unless they're real Parasyte fans. The creators, maybe. This is the C part. And I think after this is when they modulate
Yeah.
it, and that's probably when I'll cut it off. But,
It's whenever it comes back around for the main.
but this song is 3.5 minutes, and we're 2 minutes in. And we've heard everything that we're going to. Except even this. Now, the Rhodes is beautiful. It is a beautiful piece.
But there it is.
There's the modulation.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to stop it right here. That's all you need to hear. Just another, I guess we could have let it finish, but it's another 30 seconds of the same shit.
Indeed.
I apologize for the glitchiness there, everyone. That was an issue with my audio interface. It's not connecting to Logic for some reason.
Weird.
Logic just didn't update, so it does. It's who knows what's going to happen.
Who knows?
We're discovering all the bugs. Honestly, it doesn't really change. I'm not going to re-record it. I'm just going to leave it there for you. It's barely a glitch. But that wasn't in the song, so I had to tell you. All right, let's play 6 and 8.
Yeah, so we're going a little out of order considering these are tracks 6, 7, and 8 that we're playing. We're just doing it 7, 6, 8 instead.
Yeah. I wanted to get the Barbie Girl one out of the way because we didn't really have a whole lot of notes for that one.
Did not.
That was just like a recognizable piece, and they used it a lot in the anime.
A lot. They used it a lot. It's probably the most used piece that I heard.
But 6 and 8 we both starred.
Yes.
Like a lot. I actually double circled 6, and I think I might have even double circled 8. Nope, just one. So 6 is called Enemy. What were your notes for this, Emily?
So dark.
Emily.
All right, did you just forget how to say my
It's
name?
just combined with Enemy.
Anemone.
Anemone.
Yeah, this was super dark. It had some really deep timbres and tonality. The strings screeching, and then whatever the fuck that just came through screeching, that was cool.
Yeah. I think it was like a voice. I don't know what the fuck they did. It was
screeched at
very
me.
cool.
And then I said, is this the same composer? What an ominous song.
Right? Right?
I wrote it in my notes. It was right there. I had to.
Yeah. I mean, I put for this, I put yes, exclamation point. Love this intensity and the tension. Each section adding more impact to the tension to great sound design. Horn stabs are awesome too. Actually, all the embellishments are kept in line with that low-end piano hit. So fucking good. Makes me feel like a deer in the headlights. Like this is triggering my fight or flight. I think even 8 did kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And it also reminded me a bit of Fire Force. A bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit. So this one is Enemy number 6. They start you off with this like really
Super dark and deep.
intensity, anxiety,
And
tension.
and you know what? The strings don't fucking sound digital.
No.
Isn't that so strange that
It's
you
a real
can
orchestra.
fucking put a real orchestra in that bitch?
Orchestra is 99% necessary.
It's just crazy. And especially
90% necessary.
and
I'll dial it back.
It's especially important when you want to invoke emotions and you want this to be like, you know, the enemy is here, not because you see it on the screen, but because you hear it. And that's where the emotional response comes from.
Yes.
And if you don't have that, it just doesn't quite hit the same. And track 8 did another good, oh, this is dark. They used the correct instrumentation.
That.
Yeah. Like what?
So good. Those horn stabs, too. All the embellishments just, they cause tension and a push and a pull and like just grabbing at you and attacking you from different sides. And then you have that piano, the consistent gong. That keeps you in line with like what you've heard first. Bow.
But these violins, like,
These violins are nuts. And they hold that like creepy tonic underneath it all too.
yeah. I love the sound design in this. It is so well done.
Fantastic.
Very intricate. Like giving me anxiety. And I want that. I don't normally want anxiety. But
this,
this is called for. It's necessary.
well, yeah, it's the situation. It's an anxious situation. Man, I really love that piece. Again, this is why it's mind-blowing to me that this is the same composer.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
After what we heard in the first one, man. Okay, let's move on to 8.
Track 8, Full Moon.
This one was so cool too.
Yes, and they chose the perfect instrumentation. This is what I meant, that they chose something good because they used an organ. And
Yeah.
an organ always invokes the creepy vibes. And it's a full moon. And when you think of full moon, you think of crazy things, coincidences, wolves howling at the moon. That shit gets creepy, especially when it's dark, it's nighttime.
Yeah.
You know, you need something to help you personify what a full moon is.
Yeah, full moon brings some weird energies. And
this
has some weird energies in it.
I also got some gunship vibes from this.
Yeah, a little bit.
Gunship
It actually had
vibes.
some of that 80s kind of synth pop, Daft Punk sort of thing throughout all of it. But let's play Full Moon, and then we'll go over our notes. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool. Here's Full Moon. Spooky and mysterious. I love the energy.
And it's energetic.
Yes.
So it's not like, I love when an organ holds out its notes with like a bunch of reverb on it.
Yeah.
But I also love when it's used in a very fast-paced tempo.
Love the energy this piece gives off. Especially the tension from the strings during this A part.
Yeah.
And then that sick B part. This is where the strings come in. They get really...
Yeah.
They pull at you.
There's also a really cool breakdown.
That's what I mean, that B part.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Organ is a beautiful timbre to layer in here. And the tempo change was great. Oh.
And there's two counter melodies that are playing between the organ and the strings, and they are very cohesive. And one's more fast paced and one's a little more held out.
This was
and
sick.
then this is pretty fucking cool. Yeah, and then they bring it down to a single note at a time, slowing it down. And then they pick the melody back up. They pick it back up, and that's well done.
And they bring that A part back. That's very good.
That's okay. Do that.
That is okay. Now, would I have gone with the C part? Yes. My only critique to this song is, again, showing his cards too early. Fortunately for him, that B part, that little breakdown, and that tempo change is so complex and artistic that it can work a second time.
Right. And also with the end here, they give you a little bit of a retardando. So you actually are hearing different. You're getting the A part again, but at least when it ends, it's not like, oh fuck, I'm glad that song is done.
Yeah. Like he did some of the, what I would call amateur moves that he did from the beginning. But it is complex and it is cool. It can be played a second time. Yes, that was a fucking awesome piece.
That was good.
All right, one more song to go. We have the closer, and we honestly didn't get to hear this one that much because we were kind of scrambling for time, and Netflix is the binge king, and they just skip right through it.
Yeah.
If you guys want to watch an anime fast, find one on Netflix. Because holy shit, they are binge kings.
Yeah.
Do you want to skip the recap? Great. Do you want to skip the intro? Great. Do you want to just not even worry about the credits? Cool. Let's go.
Yeah, they do a strangely good and bad job at it because we, when we're scrambling for time, we scramble.
We scramble.
We scramble.
And we did it. We heard these songs at least twice while we were watching, and then we were like, all right, let's finish this bitch. So, let's talk about the closer. All right, so the closer, the ending. It's called It's the Right Time by Daiichi Miura. It was released December of 2014 as their 16th single and on the album Fever. Daiichi Miura has been actively putting out music since 1997 with the band Folder. He takes his artistic influence from Michael Jackson, Justin Timberlake, and Hitoshi Matsumoto, a Japanese comedian.
Mm-hmm. The way that he delivers,
Okay.
and like some of his like punchlines and stuff like that, that's where he takes like a lot of his influence from.
Cool. Nice. Well, he attended the Okinawa Actors School, and he's also been featured in Kamen Rider X-Aid. X-Aid. Cool. All right, let's play the ending for you guys. It's called It's the Right Time. Very pretty little ending.
いつか君が教えてくれたあの言葉が
He's got a really pretty voice.
Very pretty voice.
広
I like that drum beat.
Yeah, nice chill side sticking on the snare. Tasteful little drum fill. These drums might be programmed.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
The more I listen to it, I'm like, sounds not quite human.
Not organic. Gosh darn it.
It's close. It's very close. The great program drums, if they are. It's hard to tell. And drums are honestly one of the hardest things to tell. Guitar is obvious. Strings are obvious.
Yeah.
There's certain things that a computer cannot do yet. So that's a really cool, very chill song. I think it really does fit the ending. This is another one that could have been, they could have had more than one ending.
Yeah.
They could have had an album of endings here.
Yeah.
Because it does, or at least like 5 or 6, because there are some that just, the endings for each episode are different. They don't need that for every time.
Yeah, and and it definitely works because they use it in a lot. On multiple occasions, they actually brought it in before the credits started.
Yeah.
So it does work. I just don't think it works in every situation because there's a lot of times you're ended with like a lot of suspense, but you also get that shock factor. You're like, whoa, I'm really into this, and it's like, okay, let's chill.
Yeah, and they do bring it in before the credits come in, which is kind of cool. I like when they do that. But it doesn't fit every scene.
No.
It doesn't.
No, and that's what I mean. Like, sometimes...
It fits the drama and the disconnect that he
Yes.
has with, like, his friends and his girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
And it fits the disconnect at the very end with, Migi, like, what he does at the end. I'm trying not to spoil anything. With what he does at the end. So it fits certain aspects of it. It fits his connection with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And when all that shit happens, but it doesn't fit everything. It just fits half of it, I would say. So could have done with 2 openers and at least 2 closers. Really could have been an album of closers. But let's get into some lyrics.
Sure. Those words that you once told me advance across the wide sea without hesitation, turning into hope. And in days I'm perplexed by the answers that have no form, you softly whisper them in a quiet voice. In a voice that you and I can hear, it's the right time, let's step forward. It's the right time, don't be afraid.
This is totally about Migi.
Yeah, look towards the place where we cross that hill together through thick and thin. It's definitely about Migi, but I feel like the lyrics are a little too generic. Whereas in the OP, it was like, hard hit. Was very specific. I feel like if you're going to have an opening and an ending, if you're going to be super specific with the opener, then you should be very specific about the end. And this is another thing too, is that it would have been really cool if they have done where the beginning was, talking about humans and we're the parasites and,
all those psychological questions.
And then ending it in a way that almost was complete opposite. And I feel like they could have gone a little bit deeper with this lyrically.
I said psychological, I meant philosophical, but
I knew what you meant.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to correct myself there.
I felt like they could have gone a different direction with this. I don't think the song doesn't fit, but
it just could have been a little bit better.
I think it could have been better. I honestly would give this the goat noise.
You would give it the goat noise?
I would give it the goat noise. I think with everything combined, I just think, I don't know, man.
I think it gets a check because it does fit the emotional tone of a good portion of this anime.
Yeah. I do like that the ending sequence changes throughout the anime. The ending sequence actually evolves.
It does a little bit.
A little bit. It's not a lot. It's only really at the end of it that it really like changes. Like he's inside and then he walks outside. He's opening the door, and then he goes outside.
For the episodes that it really hits hard in, it hits hard.
It hits hard, but it doesn't.
It fits very well.
But it doesn't do that every time. And I feel like that's why, and with the lyrics being as generic and not very specific as it could have been.
The whole whispering in the ear thing is pretty specific to Migi.
Yes. I'm not saying that it's not, but the rest of it, that's the one line that's going to catch you.
It's like,
does it really make it worth it?
It's like, I would say 75% accurate to the anime. To me, I would give it the check just because it's like right there. It's right there on the cusp of it. I don't think it quite deserves the goat noise. That's just me. What are you going for?
I don't think it gets a check from me.
It doesn't get a check from you.
No.
All right, we can give it the goat noise. We'll do a little check man. All right. Well,
Guys,
that's it.
I have some fun facts.
For the music. We got fun facts.
Yeah, we're done with the music. But we got some
lots
fun
of fun
facts.
facts
I
in
have
here.
some fun facts. I found some shit.
Look at that. And you got an even number. I'm going to take 2.
Okay. Okay. Whatever.
Go for the first one, though.
All right. So Migi from Parasyte could possibly have come from a real-life medical condition called alien hand syndrome.
What?
Where the sufferer has a hand which acts on its own without the person's control.
What?
So technically inspired by a true story.
That sounds so fake. It's just like one of those first episodes when he accidentally grabs her boob.
Yeah.
That seems like a good excuse for some people, though. They're just making that shit up.
Yeah. Well,
I
all
can't believe
power
it's
to
a
'em.
real diagnosis. That's so
is.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. You can think of Shinichi to be most like Spider-Man in the way that his senses are heightened and he has to keep his secret to himself and leads different lives.
He's got a high school life, Peter Parker, and then he's got a fighting parasites.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
just no mask.
No mask.
And he doesn't shoot webs.
Just does it all willy-nilly. But
That's
like
right.
his appearance changes, his senses are changed.
That's right. It's like when he actually does the Spider-Man thing, the Tobey Maguire thing, when he puts on his glasses and he's like,
and he's
I don't
like,
fucking
whoa,
need
I
these
don't
anymore.
need these. Yeah. They did that. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
All of the episode titles are references to literary works. Each individual episode's article has trivia that will state what work the title is from on the Wiki fandom page. So I thought that was really cool that last time we did another and every title was how to make a doll.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And this one is titles from literary works.
Very cool. Very, very cool. When the anime was undergoing promotion before the release, a manga series of collaborative one-shots named Neo Parasyte, based on the Parasyte manga, and was published in Monthly Afternoon magazine with authors such as Fairy Tales Hiro Mashima, Peacemaker's Ryoji Minagawa, and Prison School's Akira Hiramoto producing the chapters.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. I thought those were pretty fun facts.
Those are very fun facts. Those are great
Yay.
ones. I love the first one.
Yeah.
Who knew that alien hand syndrome was a thing? Now you guys know.
I've heard of it, but I didn't remember it until I saw it.
Alien hand syndrome. I can't believe you made an entire thing called like Parasyte about alien hand syndrome.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
what
pretty
if that
cool.
alien hand actually took over your brain?
That'd be fucking weird.
Now you know.
Now you know.
Now it's putting the whole thing into perspective. Well, I think that is it for us today. That is the end of this. Guys, go watch this show. It's so good. So good.
Garrett, this is the last anime we're doing of the season.
Holy shit. It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have one more episode of this
We have
season.
one more
And
episode.
it's not
of the
even
season.
really anime based. It's a birthday party.
It's a birthday! We're turning a year old.
We're turning 1 year old. I'm pumped, yo.
I'm
excited.
excited.
We got some
Hey.
gifts for you guys.
We got gifts. We got giveaways. We're talking to people. We're planning. I'm excited.
It's going to require a
celebration.
little bit of work on your end. Mostly just like watch us, but listen to us. That's pretty much it.
I haven't decided if we're going to stream live yet or not.
I don't know if we're going to have time to set it up. We have
Yeah.
lots to finalize. Lots of work to do by next Friday, essentially.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Emily, take us on out.
Sure. My beautiful friends out across the nations, across the worlds,
And maybe into the
the
beyond.
multiverse.
Yes, the parasitic world, wherever you came from.
Wherever you came from, we are absolutely thrilled to be sharing our love of anime and music and sound effects with you on whatever surface you're on.
That is right. That is right. And if you could do a couple things for us, just really read the show notes. You don't have to read the description unless you really want to. We work hard on it most days.
Yeah.
But we do add a bunch of links in there. One, most importantly, to the playlist for all the music featured in today's episode. We have to, if you already listened to the playlist, we're going to edit it because this is a perfect opportunity to show you guys yet another opportunity to show you what good audio quality sounds like and what fucking dog shit quality sounds like.
Good gracious.
It was really bad. I actually had to tell Emily, we can't. We started playing one song, and I was like, nope, this doesn't work. Start over while we were recording. So we're going to leave a couple songs in there so you guys can compare and get you could train your ears a bit better. So when you hear other music, you're like, this isn't such good quality. I wonder if I can
Sounds
find something better. And then, impress your friends, whatever. Click the link in the show notes. We have links to our YouTube channel. Go subscribe to that so you know when the playlists come out. And while we're on break, before our next season, we're going to have videos come out, I'm sure. We're going to be souping up our YouTube page. I think we're going to be starting a Twitter. We have the link to our Instagram and our TikTok down there. We're going to be working on that as well. It'll be kind of nice to have a break from all that stuff.
Yeah.
From creating this podcast. It is a lot of hard work. And if you're feeling generous and would like to support the show, there is a link to our Etsy shop down there. Click on that link. We got anime merch. We're actually going to be giving away some of that merch if you guys are interested for our birthday party. That's going to be one of the prizes. But it's going to be like a little mystery box I think we're going to put together. So click down on that Etsy shop. Support the show. There's also, if you're feeling generous and you're just liking the entertainment, there is a donate button if you'd like to donate to the show. That would be very, very generous and mean a lot. It would allow us to honestly hire another member of this team.
We need a video editor and social media content maker. So if you want to build your your portfolio, we would love the help and we would pay you in some way.
Yeah, we're looking for volunteers because we don't have any money to pay anybody right
now.
Unless we get more supporters or sponsors. We do have some friends in the industry, and if you can volunteer, that'd be great. If not, eventually we'd like to pay somebody. We want to build this team and have it become a business.
An empire.
An empire. An anime empire. Yes. Exactly. We'll take over the world.
That's what I was about to say. I want to take over the world with anime music.
Yes. Like Pinky and the Brain.
And the brain.
Did we just date ourselves? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, so there's a ton of links down there. Click on them all. Follow us on Instagram. Reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you guys. We actually talk to a lot of people. We've been getting a lot more messages because I think some of you guys are like, yeah, well, I'll actually listen to Garrett this time on this episode. So thank you for doing that. And we can't wait to meet more of you.
Very sweet of you.
And if you're in Austin, fucking come hang out. Yo.
Let's hang.
We're gonna have watch parties and shit. That's the plan. That's the eventual, I want to build an anime theater so bad. An anime theater and a manga library all in one spot.
One day we'll own a house and it'll contain all of these things.
I know. I want to build one that people go to.
No, I know. They would come to our house.
They would come to our house?
And then we'd all get drunk at night.
I don't want you weird weebs at my house. I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm just playing.
We do.
We're weird weebs too.
Yes.
That's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for listening. It means a lot to us.
Truly.
For how far we've come in a year, it's really rewarding.
It's astonishing too. We never thought that this would amount to anything, and here
Not
we
at
are
all. This started
making
as
it
a joke.
a weekly event that we enjoy sharing with you, and we feel closer to our community worldwide because of it. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We've met some awesome friends because of it. We have something to connect with people that brings us closer to people because, you know, I'm a weirdo and I'm like, hey, you listen to podcasts? You like anime? Cool.
Yeah. So this has been so fulfilling and rewarding. And so thank you. And we can't wait to do our birthday party next week. So have a great fucking week. Happy early Halloween. It's Halloween month, so I'm going to be saying it for all week next week. We can't wait to do our cosplay, too, for Halloween. We finally decided what we're going to do,
Yay.
and it's a throwback
And
as
it's
fuck.
fitting.
We'll talk about it on the next episode. So tune in next week for another episode of Anime Noise. Bye, guys.
This has been a Beanbag Chair Media production.